be a failure. As long as it's not going to kill you, it's going to make you what? Stronger.
Rwanda wants to become Africa's tech powerhouse by 2020, but it has a long way to go. Private broadband access costs more than the average monthly wage. While more and more people have a cell phone, at least 60% of homes have no electricity. To tackle this problem, a local entrepreneur has come up with a mobile solar electricity kiosk. There are now more than 30 kiosks that can be used to charge mobile phones, go online, and make utility payments. Henry Nyakarundi came up with the idea.
So I want to show you a little bit where we are. We're in 6th district, but the one you're going to be visiting is the Bugesera one.
Okay.
Which the south of Kigali is about 45 minutes from you.
Henry attended university in the United States and has founded a number of startups. The kiosks are equipped with retractable solar panels. They have Wi-Fi access, cell phone charging stations, and can be used to access government institutions, pay taxes, and purchase electricity credits. Each kiosk is a micro-franchise, also providing jobs and income.
Social enterprise is the next step to NGOs. I think NGOs have a short-term approach, and I think social enterprise are more long-term. And I think that's the buffer that is needed to solve some of the biggest problems in the world. I believe the private sector needs to be built up in Africa to solve a lot of the problems. That's really where my passion is. And my passion is also passing the knowledge and the information to the next generation, which is a big problem we have in Africa, where we don't have platform for the younger generation to learn from. And so they learn from the Zuckerberg and they learn from the foreign entrepreneurs, but our local entrepreneurship needs to share that information as much as the international one does.
Henry also trains young people like Philemon to work for his firm, Aret. We accompany Philemon to one of the new generation solar kiosks. It's run by Marcel, who's been here for 4 years. It's a good location, near the main hospital.
Most of my earnings come from prepaid cell phone credits. That's what sells best. But other people just come here to charge their mobile phones.
We buy a prepaid credit before heading out with Philemon to visit the Bugesera district.
How much do you get?
The digital revolution is underway in Rwanda. In 2011, the country completed the first stage of its nationwide fiber optic network. In rural and isolated regions, cell phones remain the only way to access many business, educational, and political services and information. Most of Rwanda has mobile 3G availability. But without a reliable electricity supply, access remains a problem. In Bugesera district, just 30 kilometers from Kigali, most people earn a living from farming. We meet Floride, one of the earliest kiosk leaseholders. Meanwhile, it provides her and her family with a livelihood.
Thank you.
We often have electricity outages. Then many people from the village come to use my solar power. When there's electricity, not as many come. But sometimes outages last for 2 days. Before I had this kiosk, I did the same work as everyone else. I grew vegetables and sold them at markets. I was out on the fields all the time, but then I developed health problems and couldn't manage the heavy labor. Now that I have this kiosk, my health is much better. This kiosk is an old model. I hope I'll get a new one soon, which will draw even more customers.
In the booming Rwandan economy, data protection and privacy sometimes falls by the wayside. The state is the major mover and investor behind the tech startup scene. Although internet communication laws were passed in 2016, little is known about what happens with the wealth of personal data collected by public Wi-Fi networks and apps, such as SafeMotos.